I'm Robin,
And I'm Kristen.
and we are back.
We are talking about Run BTS episodes 26 through 28 today.
26 to 28.
26 through 28.
Yes. And
So take it away.
take it away. Yeah. I wish I had it open. I should have had it open.
You're not prepared.
I'm not.
As I have
But I
no
am.
notes in front of me, and I'm waiting on her to tell me what the episodes were about because I don't remember.
Okay.
Until she tells me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
26 was the secret agent episode.
Oh, that's
that
right.
was the episode where they dove into 3 teams, right?
Yeah, they divided
So we
into
did
3
teams. Yeah, and yes, that's right, 3 teams. Yeah, and they had to go into. I want to explain it as an escape sort of room.
But
I've never been in an escape room, so I don't know if that is a right.
We clearly need to take her to an escape room.
Yeah, so
Stop
they go into these, I believe it's 3 separate rooms.
There's 3 separate rooms,
and they have to accomplish certain missions within those rooms.
So the first one was the laser shooting. They had to aim at specific targets in order to get the points.
Right.
And I don't know if they knew that beforehand because I feel like they just kind of went in trying to be like, just started shooting.
Because I don't think they understood. They had to shoot a specific color.
Yeah, they had to shoot specific colors.
So I don't think they understood that.
Before we get too into it, well, no, let's continue. So yes, that was the first room.
That was the first room.
And then the second room was where it's pitch black, and they have to find a certain letter on the wall. And it was either an M or a V that were on the. No, there were only 3. Because the last room was the. Oh no, you're right. There were 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they had to either. They were looking for the V's.
The V's.
But there were M's there, which obviously, if you write it, it feels like a V until you go to the outer legs.
Right.
So that tripped them up a little bit because it's completely dark.
Yes.
Then they go to the next room, which is the photos.
Right.
They had to find specific photos in a certain amount of time. And then the last room was the laser. The lasers, yeah. The booby trap.
Right.
And they had to go through without touching the lasers. And if they did, they had to start all over again.
And that's what
not completely over again, just in that room.
Just in that room. They had to start, they had to begin in that room again.
Yeah.
But that was the one that really threw them off because they would get zapped. Or they would zap the laser.
They didn't realize they had to turn off the alarm.
Right. And then they didn't also realize they had to go back to the beginning. They thought that they could continue on. And when things weren't going right, it's like, go back. So they had to go back.
And then they figured out that part, but then they didn't realize that they had to turn off the alarm before they started over again. So there was just a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Which is the only way I can describe their entire series. It's just chaos.
But it was good because they in the dark room that had the V letters that they were feeling for.
V's, yeah.
That was really it was weird to see them because they had the night vision camera in that room, and they're going around, and I think each of them had to find it. They couldn't find it as a team. They had to find each of them because so they were going around and feeling all parts of the walls, trying to feel the letters. And I think it was, who was with JK? Was it RM?
Yeah, I think RM was with JK.
Okay.
Wait, don't you know?
Oh, you know what?
Because we have to talk about who was on the team with who.
Right. And it's right here. Well, that attributes to how good my memory was. Or is. I can't say was.
She has left us. She's no longer here.
So, yeah, it was Sugar and V, RM and JK, and J-Hope, Jimin, and Jen. Yes. So those, they had the J group, RM, and each vocal line RM.
Do you remember their team names?
I know that. I think this is when they started with
using Jin's
name as the team name.
So Jin, so that team had their team Kim Seokjin.
Yes, and
I feel like Suga went very like literal with their team name.
I have like 4 A's here. I don't know
because they were the because where it was divided by letters, right? So like the A team, like you had to pick a letter, and whoever picked A, they were together, and whoever picked B were together, and whoever
Yeah,
picked C together. And
right,
I think
right. Okay. He
literally was just
just
like,
like,
we're
with our
we're
team, yeah. And I don't know what RM and JK was.
they
I don't know if
they feel like they changed theirs a
they
couple of
did
times,
change theirs a
but
couple
I
of
can't
times,
remember
but
what they landed
so
on.
I left it alone.
Okay, it's
But anyway, going back to what I was describing regarding the room that had the V's in them, he was feeling around when
which
he
he.
found one V. I mean, I'm sorry, JK. When JK was when he found him, he kept pulling
Oh, RM
RM
over to
over
yeah.
to like right here, right here. And I think at one point they had overlapped the hands, and he was like, "No, that's not it," or whatever. It was just there was so many funny little things going on at the time. Somebody, I think it was V, just walked up to the camera and just looked up at the camera, not realizing the camera was there because the room was totally dark.
Well, no, the camera gave off some light because Jen kept cheating.
Oh no, V
kept cheating. That's why he
V
walked up.
kept cheating.
He realized the light could help.
Right. So he kept flipping it.
Yeah, what he didn't realize is that they got docked points every time he used the light.
Yes, every time he flipped the camera and used the light. And so that was there for. And so anyway, the team that I think won.
Well, there were two parts. Oh wait, am I going into the next episode? Because 26 and 27 were part 1 and part 2.
Right. Yes. Okay. So that I think there was where they split off. Wait a minute.
It was the same episode.
Okay, JK, the J team won that.
Yeah, they won that, and
that,
then
yes,
they then it took them to the
Fantastic M. They passed the total of 4 missions stages with high points. No, they went into the race.
Go-kart, yeah,
yes, the go-kart race.
Precision
racing,
driving
right.
test.
That's right. That's what they did. And that was, they did one to determine what team.
No, they were on the same teams.
Right. They were on the same teams.
Oh, yeah, they went through to determine who was going to be the winner. And then 2-1.
They Jimin, well, the same team, right?
Yeah, Team Subject.
Yeah. They won.
So they didn't want to split the prize.
Right.
They didn't want to share the prize. They couldn't split the prize. They didn't want to share
the prize, yes.
So then they raced the 3 of them to see who would get the prize, which was a remote control car, right?
Right. Yes, that's what it was. And I believe J-Hope got it? Or was it Jimin?
No, I feel like it was J-Hope.
It was J-Hope. Got it.
I think it was J-Hope.
And then he turned around and got that big old transformer too. Later on, never mind.
I mean, he didn't. You're getting ahead of yourself.
I know I am. I just said, never mind. That's okay. So that
J-Hope just stays winning, you know.
But it was, the race thing was really funny because RM had the race. And he does not.
He doesn't have a license.
He doesn't have a license, right? So
but he did okay.
He did okay.
I was really shocked that JK did not do as well in the race. I really expected him to
because he's the golden.
Yeah, to get into competitive mode and get ahead of everybody, and he kind of just came in, and I remember RM saying it's okay, just do your best. It's okay. It was we still got this. It's all right. He knew he didn't have this.
But you don't drop the ball then.
But I don't know. I don't know if maybe there was something with the go-kart itself, or if
it might have been
was unmotivated.
It's why am I doing
this?
It
was I didn't get to sleep. I was playing games or whatever, and now I gotta drive a car. Or maybe he was just really exhausted carrying his team in the first half. Because I mean, he got through the laser parts really well, and he knew RM was gonna mess up, and he was just like, "You go first, so that way we can get that knocked out.
Yes,
and then I'll come in and finish us up." I feel like maybe he was just over it. He was like, "It's too much responsibility. I'm the maknae. I'm supposed to just be chilling." And you got me out here working double time to get us ahead. I feel like he was just like, not today.
But you know what? He did give it his all the first time around. I guess he felt like it was a tag team, and
he was like at this point, you can You can step up, RM leader.
Leader. That's what I'm saying. Leader.
Step up.
Yeah.
Show them what you're made of, or something.
Yeah.
But he did well despite not winning the go-karts.
Right.
But I was a little shocked by that. But now that we talked it out, I think I understand why. So I'm not as shocked anymore.
Not as shocked anymore. Okay. And then the third, well, no, it wasn't those two. Yeah, it was those two in the first episode, right? The race. No, they split it up.
Did they? What was okay? Because I can't remember.
Oh, no,
I felt like it was one episode, but then I also feel like it was split up. It was split up. Was it split up? Why don't we know?
The relay team match. Teams with 2 members. The first driver. Okay, that was the agilities. Right.
Okay, but do you have the episode number?
It was. Is it here? It was. It's still under 26.
Okay, so it wasn't split. So then what was 27?
27. Okay.
Why don't we
Bear
know?
with me. Hold on a second. 27 was the one where they had JK's face on the shirt. The game.
Okay, so that one was split into 2.
That was also no,
that was split. That was 27 and 28. Because 26 was the spy, the secret agent.
The secret agent.
But the first the escape room part and the racing, the agility test part were all in one episode.
All in one episode.
Okay. So figured it out. Yeah. Okay, so 27 and 28 were it was more games.
Yeah, it was more games, and then the talent show.
Yeah.
That's that.
So
yes,
that was karaoke.
The karaoke, right.
Yeah, so the first part,
right.
Wow. When they had JK's face on their shirts.
They played that game.
But what were the games?
Oh my goodness. The games were,
because I remember 28.
Mental training, BTS Marbles. What was game 2? 3, 2.
Oh, that's right, because they had all of those. Okay, so they had that. Yeah. I remember BTS Marbles, and they had all of the different challenges that they had to do based on where they landed on the board.
Right.
Because so Suga was with V. I remember Suga was with V. Jimin was with J-Hope, and then it was RM, Jin, and JK.
Right.
Okay. All right. It's all coming back to me, guys. It's coming back to me. Okay. So I remember Suga and V had to do the dance, and they had to do both dances. They did have to both. Yeah. They were the only ones who danced.
They were the only one with dances.
And then there was the nonsense game. So the dance one was, if you landed on that, you had to pick whether you're going to go at half speed or double speed in the choreo, and then you had to pick to see what song you were going to dance to.
Yes.
And so they ended up doing both. They did one at half speed, one at double speed. It was entertaining.
And they couldn't mess up at all.
And did they pass any of them?
No.
I don't think they passed either.
No, because one messed up. I don't know one where they weren't timed. They weren't going at the same time, and one messed up. That was the two different.
Yeah,
so they didn't get the point. Yeah, and that was all for food.
So their whole point of playing is for their dinner.
Yeah, it was for their dinner. So, and then
capitalism. That's not capitalism. But anyway, so they played that. There was a nonsense thing where they had to answer, like they were asked a question and then they had to say nonsense as their response. Is that what it was? Mm-hmm. So the director would ask them a question, and then they had to respond with something that made absolutely no sense.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's the way I remember when you said they had to say nonsense. I thought you were saying that they had to say the word nonsense.
Oh no, they
had to say something that wasn't related.
Yeah,
that wasn't related. So, for instance, like if I would say to you,
if you asked me like, "What do you want for dinner?" and I said that door is white.
Yes, there you go. Makes no sense.
No sense. There was the lyric one where they were given part of the words in their song, and they had, and this is the one I was really confused about because it said name the song title, but they were told that wasn't enough. They had to finish the lyrics or solve the lyrics. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, if they got the song title, why the song is called song title? Like, the game segment's called song title.
Yes.
You would think they'd be all right with getting the song title, but I didn't make the rules. I wasn't there. I definitely would have, advocated on their behalf because
that's what this title of the game was.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
And then they had the other one where he had the little
the chum chum chum,
right, and they had to go in the opposite direction of it, so he would hold it. Like if he went up, they would have to go down or side, and so that one was that's very mind training.
Yeah, you really have to kind of know your opponent.
Yeah, definitely.
What other ones did they play? They did the back and forth where they say a 3-syllable word, and then they had to go back and forth syllable by syllable until somebody messed up or went off pace.
Off pace, off timing.
I think there was
because they had to keep the flow the same.
There was the story one where they were given a certain amount of words. I think they were given 5 words, and they had to create a sentence or a 2-sentence story or something with those 5 words. There were quite a few games on that.
Yeah, there was.
Quite a few challenges on that game. But every time they attempted, they had a chance for a side dish or part of their dinner.
And Sugar was very, very conscious of that's too much salt. We're gonna get diabetes. High blood pressure.
Yeah,
we're gonna get diabetes.
Very concerned about.
Yeah, he was very concerned
what they couldn't acquire and what they managed to acquire. But in the end, they did all right. And then so what else did they play in that, or was that it?
That was it.
Okay,
and then they did
and then they played
the karaoke, right?
Karaoke.
Where they have the opportunity to use props and dress up.
Yeah, and then their score from the karaoke machine determining how they ranked.
Yeah, how they ranked. Yes, definitely.
That was insane. I don't know how else to describe. I mean, if anybody were to ever ask me, like, oh, what's BTS like? Like, what are the members like? I feel like that episode
would say it all.
Would say a lot. Would say a lot, because I think people who don't know BTS kind of have this idea, like maybe they know K-pop and they've heard of, like they've kind of seen some stuff with BTS, but they don't know BTS. And so, they probably saw clips of them performing Dynamite, or the clip of them giving a speech at the UN or at the White House. And they're like, oh, man. And then you give them that clip. Especially RM in the rainbow wig.
In the rainbow
and the giant
wig.
I feel like they probably and justifiably believe that they're on crack.
Wow.
They are crackheads. they are crackheads.
Wow, I
without
don't
actually being
that.
Without actually being on crack.
No, right. Let's clarify that.
Crackhead energy. As I've seen a lot of edit videos call it crackhead energy. So it's not my words. I'm not coining this term. Okay. They exude, based on some army's observations.
Right.
They exude crackhead energy. And I don't disagree. I mean, if you look at that clip alone, that they are insane. They are insane.
Episode 28. But what I will say is that I have Sugar laughed so hard that I think he said his lungs hurt.
I think, he was on the ground.
He was on the ground, rolling. V the same way. V had to walk away so many times because it was just too much, but they were just going above and beyond.
They really were doing the most. And it was funny because even the vocal line, they were really just kind of going for that entertainment bonus points, because they were singing off key. They were making their voice crack, except for JK. JK was like, no, I can't have any clip of me that's acting a fool with my vocals out here. it's too early in our career. Like I can't do that. We're not that
we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. So everybody's over here just singing like they've never sang a song before. Jin's over here singing like he's never held a microphone. And JK just comes in and is just like with his perfect angelic vocals, just like, oh, let me just take over and do this. And then to still not get 100.
Right. Because Jimin and J-Hope won.
Yeah. I think the thing with these karaoke machines, I'm not entirely sure, but if you make these machines, please let us know. Do they score based on actual skill, or do they score based on like how insane your performance is? Yeah. Like just how chaotic your performance is. Because I feel like J-Hope, and it was J-Hope and Jimin, and I feel like they just kind of threw it all to the wind and we're just like, we're just gonna have fun with it. And then they ended up getting, did they get 100?
They got 97.
97. So they got the highest score.
They got the highest
score. And then you have JK who comes in with these perfect vocals. Man's got perfect pitch. He can sing anything. And they got what, an 81?
81.
So like I just need to understand what's the process here.
But do you all right, JK and Jin was singing, perfectly. I mean,
Jin messed up sometimes.
But no, he messed up. But it wasn't until after RM went in there with all those crazy notes, and then Jim was like, "Oh well, hey, we could do this."
Yeah.
I mean, JK's like, "No, I don't care what y'all do. I'm staying there." But Jin, he did go in. But the first verse that they sung, he was in there. He was, working his vocals, but to no avail.
Yeah. I just think I need to know what the process is when it comes, because if I need to know how to get the most points. So do I come in and just try to do really well singing, or do I just go in knowing I'm going to make a fool of myself, but I'm going to get closer to 100? Mm-hmm. So I just need to know. So
you do whatever the ones who got 97 do. Okay. That's what you do.
So then I act a fool.
Yes, you act a fool.
Bring my crackhead energy. Find my crackhead energy.
Find your crackhead energy.
And bring my crackhead energy.
And bring it. Okay.
And that's how I'll score. But so we're now going into the second half of episode 28. So they've done their karaoke. We determined their winners. And now they get to eat.
They get to eat.
Finally. They get to eat. So they go out, they get their dinner, their meals. They're seated according to their teams, but it doesn't really make much of a difference because
they go from table to table.
And they share food and stuff. So, and then they did extra stuff to get more food.
Right, they did their cuteness.
Yeah, their little aegyo. That's what it's called.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't think you offended anybody, but no, it's called aegyo.
Okay.
That's they're like cute acts.
They're cute acts of cuteness.
Yeah. So Jimin did some cute stuff. I think they all ended up doing something cute, except for Suga. Suga was like, "No, I'm not letting capitalism win." Gotta love him. He's so steadfast in his self. But they got more meat. They were able to get more meat and some other stuff to make their meals more complete, I guess.
Yeah.
And they ate. They looked like they enjoyed it. I enjoyed them enjoying it.
Oh my goodness.
It just the thing about watching them eat, because like they will do anything for food. And you swear that they don't eat food. Like you look at how aggressively they compete for side dishes and meat, especially meat. And you would think like, oh, they never get fed, but they're constantly eating. Every video clip you see of them, the only time they're not eating is when they're in an interview. And because they can't eat on it. But even some interviews, if they're
interviewing each other, or
well, no, I'm talking
something
about
like
like in a legit interview with like an
Okay.
interviewer.
So they've eaten during that time?
I've seen some of them, like some of the interviews, not here, but like in Asian countries, like they'll have like snacks or something that they.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
even once they're done with the interview and you see like the behind the scenes stuff, they're still going to the snack table and like stuffing their pockets with snacks. They're always eating. You swear they don't get food, but they're constantly eating. And it makes me so hungry. And it's not helpful that we're talking about them eating because I'm hungry right now and I need to eat. But every time they eat their food, like every time they cook their food, they always describe it as if it's like the best thing that they've ever eaten.
I know.
And it always makes me want whatever they're eating. Like, I wish that I could take my plate and just kind of like push it through the TV and be like, load it up.
That's right.
Like, give me some.
Give me my serving.
Because it always looks like it's so good. And then they always react like it's the best meal they've ever had. Yeah. And I just want to know if they're right. I just want to know, is it the best?
Don't be egging her on. She just wants to know if it's true.
Is it true? Is it really that good? Because you've got some of like, well, Jin, he's always enjoying food. Jin always enjoys food.
Yeah, he does.
But J-Hope will like look at it like it's the most fascinating thing every time they cook meat, especially grilling meat. And then RM and V, like I kind of get RM and V's reactions because they don't cook. And so I think they're more amazed at the fact that somebody prepared it for them and they didn't have to.
And they get to eat.
Yeah, and they get to eat. But like Suga, he like every time he makes something, every time JK makes something, I want to eat it.
Yeah.
Every time Jin makes something, I want to eat it.
Because they're very much into their cooking.
But they will make a bowl of rice, like just plain rice, sound like it's the most tastiest thing in the world. Ever. Like, and I love the encouragement because when they give the task of making rice to somebody and they're like, oh, you made the rice so well. And it's like, that's so sweet. Because I'd be like, you made rice. Like, okay. But
well, see, it's probably the way they make it that makes it so good.
I don't know. Maybe
except for V, because he just looks for a microwave.
Yeah, well, that's another episode. We won't get too far.
I'm not. But I'm just saying,
there's just something about the way they talk about the food that they're making for themselves, and then the way they eat it. It looks like absolute perfection, and I don't know.
And they do present it well.
They do present it well.
Yes.
And they eat it well. Like I've never thought about that. Like, oh, you eat that so well, but they'll say that like, oh, you're eating it so well. Like, is there an unwell way to eat something? Maybe, I don't know.
That's not the compliments we're used to hearing.
I don't think anybody ever compliments on how we're eating. I've never heard somebody say, "Oh, that's a weird concept."
They're used to it.
But that's the thing that they do. Whatever.
What
they eat so well. Mm-hmm. They eat very well, and I would like to eat well. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here, so that I can go. So you can eat because I am hungry. My stomach is growling. Not sure if you can hear it, but I can. And
she wants it to stop.
And you know what? I actually think now that we've talked about barbecue, like I think I want barbecue.
Korean barbecue?
Yeah. Okay. I think I want barbecue. So
okay. Well, there you have it.
You want to go get barbecue?
Say yes. Yes. Let's go get barbecue.
You haven't had Korean barbecue.
No, but there was that one night that we were gonna all go out, and they had picked a Korean barbecue restaurant, and I was like, "Yes, I'm down. Let's go."
Yeah. You were open minded.
Yes, I was. And then they said, "No, let's go to another restaurant."
They hindered her possibility at a new experience.
It went boop, just like that.
Yeah,
but I lost my opportunity.
We can do that. We can go to dinner.
Okay.
We're gonna go get some Korean barbecue.
We're gonna go get some Korean barbecue.
All right. Well, we're gonna go now. I'm gonna go eat. We're gonna go eat.
And we're gonna see you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.